Welcome aboard for another video.
Thanks, Conductor Keith. You know, I'm looking at my boat here, and it's 1:48 scale, but I'd like to be able to carry my 1:24 scale people. I'm looking at the superstructure and the railings and all that. I might tear this apart and turn it into a 1:24 scale boat. Be a nice project. I've had this for over 20 years. Yeah, I think it'd be a fun thing to do. I'm going to do some work on trimming the prop. This rope cable was on here and glued on, but I'm actually gonna, and this thing turns, so I'm actually gonna wind an actual tow line right onto it. All right, so far so good. I'll have to scrape all that. The whole deck will be repainted, but this structure's staying. That's gonna go. And up front, this is all going. I mean, I might use this in just as freight or something sitting in a yard, you know, so it'll get used on the railway. This is a lovely damper anchor that over the years has weathered itself, actually. So I'm going to keep the damper anchor and put it back on the boat. All right, so I just took that off, and here's the bow of our soon-to-be 1:24 scale boat. So that guy is going to be replaced by people this size. Railings off. This railing will come off. So I made this for a reason, because that's the ugly little thing that was under there. First I painted it, and that didn't really, it was all just this yellow plastic thing. I might just reshape that to put this as a Playmobil boat. I think actually I'm going to build a bench for Henry and Marge to sit on. Now, to keep this crane or not, or put it potentially on a rail car. So we're getting there. Now I'm just going to take all of this apart to remove 1:48 scale things like the dude in there and the chart on the chart table. It's a real chart that I reduced and put there. Yes, I'm geeky. I got to remove this fellow from there. I'll keep the figures for my 1:48 scale. Well, we're getting there, kinda, sorta. One of those large drinking straws. My daughter gave it to me. She didn't want it anymore. Before painting the deck, I'm cutting out and placing the back of a VCR, an old VCR. See, I'll glue them down. These are glued down. And so that my dudes with magnets will be able to get on the boat. Here's the driving position. See? And that way, well, it'll be all painted over. We'll see how it looks, but there'll be spots for people to stand. Well, here's the thing. Currently, the pool is being used as a pool, which is kind of weird because I kind of like using it for my boats, but I just sprayed it, and that is the deck part so far, and we're going to see how it turns out. I sanded off 1:48 scale rivet detail. Other parts, I'm covering in railing holes with this long coffee stick stirrer. I drilled out that porthole. This is going fairly well so far. Tow line's back on. It's an actual tow line. There you go. So far, we have the driving position and Henry Marge's seat up front. For towing operations, these represent the 3 lights that a tugboat, when towing, by law has to show. And this is the required yellow over white stern light for a tugboat. Just to, keep it as authentic as possible for what's not a very scale boat. This is a Christmas ornament bell. You wouldn't believe it, but what's the chances these spare grab irons from USA Trains would actually fit those holes? I added a sort of lifeboaty thing right there that came with the boat already. And this is the lift out piece to the batteries and RC control and stuff. So right here, I've glued down a pair of binoculars by Kobe bricks, but they're just the right size and they're perfect for the pilot of the boat. Well, naturally I had to add chairs for Josiah and Edna, which is Marge's parents. So they're down in there, out of the wind and the weather, because they're old. So 20 years ago, when I rebuilt this Dickie toy tug into a radio controlled boat, and I detailed it and all that for 1:48 scale, up in the bridge of the ship, I printed on paper And then I soaked the paper to make it waterproof. And I put up in there this picture of the real Marie. I've rescued that from the now scrapped and gone bridge. That is who the vessel is dedicated to. So this piece was part of the superstructure about up here somewhere in the old tug. So I cut the port and starboard light pieces out of it. They were right there. Now, as this tugboat originally came, these were not painted black, but I painted them black. These are the tops of old LEDs that I burned out by mistake. So I'm just gonna glue them on there for red and green. Now, I see a lot of people paint these red and green, but in fact, that's not correct. International Maritime Law requires that these be painted black, so there's not a lot of reflection on them of the color, which might confuse the exact aspect of the ship at sea. Now, this won't be 100% correct because the lights wouldn't be all around red. They'd only show red from here to straight ahead. Yes, I know international maritime law. Just one of the many things that are stuck lodged in my mind from my past life. Here's a fun one for you. When I was learning to navigate ships, and maybe you're in a crowded channel and you have to make snap decisions, and maybe it's at night and you're seeing the lights of other ships coming toward you. All long words on the right, short words on the left. So toward the front of the ship, that way. Starboard right green, port left red. All long words on the right, short words on the left. All right, so it's not exactly fine scale, but it doesn't look too bad. So in case you're wondering what this is, that is the flag Bravo and that's the flag Zulu. And they're the signal, the NATO signal for Bravo Zulu, which is well done. So while I have the boat here, why don't I explain the mast? This is, as I said, a metal drinking straw. Now that will be a ventilation for where the diesel engine is down below. And this straw on this side is the exhaust pipe for the diesel. So there you go. So I dropped a magnet down there so that this will stay on the metal, any of the metal pieces I've put around the deck. For those people that feel like, they need to throw up but don't want to lean over the side. Completely by accident, by taking the deck piece off, by spraying the whole deck piece and then I put it back together, it turns out there's this green stripe around the boat that I did not intend, but that I really like. So last thing to do is to take this flag, which is about a decade too late, and put the older Canadian flag on here. These windows I don't really like, so what I've done is I've got images that I've made using AI of my railway, Steve's railway in Devon, and Dave's railway in Scotland, and all of three of our large-scale railways are directly related to each other. And we planned it that way, so I'm going to take, now I've made railway posters, but I'm going to take the top and the bottom of the posters off, and the images in the center are square. I've already scaled them on the page so that the square piece should fit over there. I'm going to use this Varathane to spray first the back of the paper, let it dry, then the front, and then I'll soak through the paper and make the paper completely waterproof. And then I'm going to just glue the posters on. Then it's just going to look like this Pencross Railway tug is advertising the three related railways on the side, and it's going to cover the windows. There we go. It's fairly dry now. It's about halfway dry. So the more period flag looks great. When I was outside, I just put some paper behind and gave a quick spray. It's still a little wet. Turned it around, did the same thing on the other side. For the edges, in case it didn't quite soak through everywhere, and the edges and stuff. Now I glued the two halves together with a smearing on my finger of super glue. Now the boat looks like the proper period. Pencross Railway of Eastern Ontario. This is the Rutabaga Railway, that's Dave's railway in Scotland. This is the Pencross Light Railway, which is Steve's railway in Devon. The Pencross Railway, Light Railway, in the old world is where the Pencross Railway of the New World gets its name. So that's on that side, and that looks way better than the unscaled sort of windows that used to be there. And it's appropriate because this is the railway's tug, and they're going to advertise the various railways. So moving on to the starboard side, remember, starboard right green. We have here the Pencross Light Railway, that's Steve's railway again in Devon. We have the Pencross Railway of Eastern Ontario, that's mine. Of course, this makes sense because this is actually like the farmland all around here with the silos and whatnot. And the Rutabaga Railway in Scotland and Dave. So we have the 3 railways on each side. Aside from the odd thing I might do to it here and there in the future, I'm considering it done for now.
Oh, Henry, now imagine there's a boat as part of the railway. I know what you mean, Marge. Yes, it's wonderful.
We see that Lord Michael is a competent master and that Edna and Josiah are comfortably out of the breeze.
Well, Henry, you seem to be doing all right. Well, yes, Marge, that's because I took my gravel.
We see the friar standing back there in quiet contemplation. Now he hopes that you like this video, that you click like, but more importantly that you have a really good day. Conductor Keith is on board, of course, keeping everything timely. You can just see the back of his head above Lord Michael's right shoulder. Vihan and Felix are enjoying the evening sun. It's time to find an anchorage to have some supper.